Good morning. Today's lecture is regarding innate and adaptive immune responses. So, learning objectives of today's topic are describe and discuss innate and adaptive immune systems. Describe B cell development and the formation of antibodies and mechanism of action of antibodies. Describe T lymphocytes development and discuss central role of helper T cells and cytotoxic T cells in immune responses. Then innate immunity or natural immunity. It refers to defense mechanisms that are present even before infection. So the pre-existing defense mechanism is responsible for innate immunity and hence provides immediate protection against exposure to a new pathogen. Such innate responses are not specific to a particular pathogen, but it is non-specific, that it is not directed against the specific invaders but against any pathogen that enters the body. So it is a type of non-specific response which comes into action for each and every foreign organism or pathogen. So innate immunity is the first line of defense. This system does not confer long-lasting immunity against a pathogen. This defense mechanism include the barriers formed by the skin, chemicals in perspiration, skin oil, saliva, tears, hair in our nostrils, cilia and mucus that clean out the debris from our lungs and trachea. Inflammatory response, which is the dilation of blood vessels and accumulation of WBCs at the site of an injury, is one of the first responses of the immune system to infection. The symptoms of inflammation are redness and swelling, which are caused by increased blood flow into the tissue. Fever or a raised body temperature to inhibit the growth of pathogen is observed. Lung surfactant is also a component of innate humoral immunity, providing protection against inhaled microbes. So this lung surfactant has come during phospholipids. It is a type of phospholipid. Then innate cellular or cell-mediated immune system. It is carried out by the cells and is responsible for defense against intracellular microbes. It consists of epithelial barriers, phagocytic cells, and natural killers. Epithelial barriers resist the entry of environmental microbes. Phagocytic cells are the cells, mainly neutrophils and macrophages. These phagocytic cells destroy bacteria and other invaders also. Natural killer cells are nothing but lymphocytes that can recognize and destroy foreign cells, tumor cells, and even some infected cells. Then adaptive or acquired immunity. It consists of mechanism that are stimulated by microbes and are also capable of recognizing non-microbial substances or toxins called antigens. Adaptive or acquired immunity develops later after exposure to microbes, and even it is more powerful in fighting the infections than the innate immunity. And types of adaptive immunity. There are two types of adaptive immunity, that is humoral immunity and cellular or cell mediated immunity. Let us see one by one. So adaptive humoral immune system. So what is it? When an antigen presenting cells or APCs present an antigen to the B cell is signaled to proliferate and produce antibodies that are specifically binds to that antigen. If antibody binds to antigen, maybe bacteria or parasite, it acts as a signal for polymorphonuclear leukocytes or macrophages to engulf and kill them. Then adaptive or acquired cell mediated immune system. So T lymphocytes that are specifically made up of lymph nodes are responsible for acquired cellular immunity. If the antigen presenting cells present the antigen to T cell, the T cells become activated. The activated T cells proliferate to form CD4 T cells, CD8 T cells, or killer T cells. B cell development and formation of antibodies. The B lymphocyte is responsible for forming antibodies that provide against humoral immunity. Early development of B lymphocytes occurs in bone marrow. In the first step, the stem cells develop into pro-B cells in response to the signal or interleukin 7 received from the stroma cells in the bone marrow promotes the differentiation of pro-B cells into pre-B cells. These pre-B cells undergo extensive proliferation. This gives rise to B cells with monomeric IgM and IgD molecules on their surfaces. These monomeric immunoglobulins are called surface immunoglobulins. The surface immunoglobulins present on the surface of all native B cells constitute the antigen binding component of B cell receptors. The B cell recognizes antigen via B cell antigen receptor. In addition to membrane immunoglobulins, the B cells also express several other molecules that are essential for B cell function. They include complement receptors, Fc receptors, and CD40. When virgin B cells reaches secondary lymphoid tissue, they may be activated by protein and non-protein antigens. Activation of B cells require the help of helper T cells. Helper T cells activate B cells by binding to CD40 expressed on B cells and by secreting cytokinins. This interaction is essential for B cells maturation. Different cytokinins stimulate B cells to produce different antibody producing cells. The end result of B cell activation is their differentiation into antibody secreting cells called plasma cells, so which are discussed later. So here it is how there is stimulation of B cells and secretion of specific antibody. So B cells is triggered when the antigen binds to B cell. So you can see in the diagram. Then the B cell engulfs the antigen by endocytosis and digests it into fragments of peptides. So here you can see the B cell engulfs the antigen and digests it into the fragments. So these degraded pieces of antigen bound to its unique class 2 major histocompatibility complex molecule are displayed on the cell surface with the formation of antibody producing activated B cells, so which you can see in the diagram. Then production of antibodies from activated B cells. So the activated B cells then bind to a helper T cell which possess the CD4 protein. You can see in the diagram. So when this happens, the cytokinins or interleukins are secreted by the helper T cells and help the B cell to multiply and mature into antibody producing plasma cells. The plasma cells then secrete the soluble antibody corresponding to the surface immunoglobulin found on the stimulated parent cell. So this is how the antibodies are released by antibody producing plasma cells in response to the antigen. Then binding of antigen molecule to one another by bivalent antibody. Each antibody is specific for a particular antigen because of its unique structural organization of amino acids in the variable portions of both the light and heavy chains. So the structure of antibody has already been taught to you. So it consists of light and heavy chains. So there are two variable sites on the illustrated antibody for attachment of antigens, making antibody bivalent IgM, which consists of 10 light chains, 10 heavy chains, has as many as 10 binding sites. Then development of T lymphocytes. T lymphocytes are derived from stem cells of the embryo. The stem cells themselves are incapable of forming directly activated T lymphocytes. The lymphoid stem cells, after formation in the bone marrow, are first transported to the thymus gland as pro-T cell, which you can see in the diagram. How the pro-T cells are transported to the thymus gland after formation from lymphoid stem cells. In the thymus gland, they divide rapidly and at the same time develop extreme diversity for reacting against different specific antigens. These different types of pre-processed T lymphocytes then leave the thymus and distributed via blood throughout the body and stored in the secondary lymphoid tissue throughout the body wherever they are present. Millions of specific T lymphocytes are stored in the lymphoid tissue. When specific antigens come in contact with T lymphocytes in the lymphoid tissue, specific T lymphocytes become activated to form mature T cells. These T cells are then distributed throughout the body, which are called killer T cells. There are three major types of T cells with distinct functions. So they are helper T cells, cytotoxic T cells, or killer T cells. The role of helper T cells in immune system. So let us see. As their name implies, they help in the functions of the immune system by several ways. The activation of helper T cells causes it to release the number of proteins called lymphokinins or cytokinins, or more specifically interleukins, and other stimulatory signals that stimulate the activity of macrophages, killer T cells, and B cells. So here the activation of helper T cells causes the release of lymphokinins, cytokinins, or interleukins. This is the important point to be noted. The helper T cells have no cytotoxic activity, and do not kill infected cells or clear pathogens directly. They instead control the immune response through lymphokinins or cytokinins by directing other cells to perform these tasks. Lymphokinins or cytokinins acts as the regulator of immune functions by acting on other cells of the immune system and bone marrow, and help determine which type of immune response the body will make to a particular pathogen. In the absence of lymphokinins or interleukins, the immune system is almost paralyzed. The role of cytotoxic T cells. The cytotoxic T cells are also called as killer cells because these cells are capable of killing directly certain tumor cells, viral infected cells, and sometimes the parasites, and at times even some of the body's own cells also. Cytotoxic T cells directly attack cells carrying certain foreign or abnormal molecules on their surfaces. So how does it happen? Direct attack on the invading cell by cytotoxic T cell. The cytotoxic T cells recognize small fragment of viral proteins carried on the surface of the infected cells by body's own class 1 major histocompatibility complex protein molecule. The protein of the infecting virus is processed into fragment or broken down into fragment, which combines with class 1 major histocompatibility protein molecule and brought to the surface of the infected cell. There the complex is recognized by a killer T cell. The killer T cell are activated when the TCR, or you can see in the previous diagram that how the viral protein is broken down into the fragments. Then the killer T cells are activated when the TCR binds to the specific antigen in the complex with the class 1 major histocompatibility molecule on another cell of another cell. Recognition of this major histocompatibility antigen complex is aided by CD8 receptor on the killer T cells. The killer T cell then travel throughout the body in search of such cells where major histocompatibility complex 1 receptors bear this antigen. After binding, the killer T cells secrete hole forming protein called perforins. So, after binding, the killer T cells secrete hole forming protein called perforins. The perforins make hole in the plasma membrane of the attacked cell, through which the fluid from the interstitial space flows rapidly into the attacked cell. The attacked cell then becomes swollen and it dissolves shortly thereafter. Killer T cells activation is tightly controlled and required activation signals provided by helper T cells.